Let's talk some sports, baby.
Taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry. Back to Iguodala. Up for the layup. Oh, blocked by
And remember, make tomorrow better than today, and make today better than yesterday. And you know what we gonna do? We gonna holler at you until next time, baby.
All right, move on over to the NFL with some surprising news. Jet safety Jamal Adams broke a stale news cycle in the NFL by saying he apparently wants out of New York at mid-contract extension talks. The All-Pro safety was a 6th overall pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, as amassed 12 sacks, 6 forced fumbles, and 272 tackles over his first 3 seasons, good for first, second, and fifth among defensive backs, respectively. The news is interesting because the Jets have made no mention of not wanting to pay him. At the NFL Combine, Jets GM Joe Douglas even said he wants him to be a Jet for life. Adams has 2 years left on his contract, including a $9 million fifth-year option. Adams listed 7 teams he'd like to be traded to if the Jets fail to make him not only the highest-paid safety in the league, but also the highest-paid Jet on the team. So, Jay, should the Jets ship Adams in a blockbuster deal, or should he settle down?
You know what? From the Jets' perspective, let's not beat around the bush here. The Jets should absolutely not do this, and it's absolutely it's unacceptable that the Jets have let this happen. You see this with these subpar franchises that just on far too many occasions they get into these pre-contract spat trade things to where we just saw it last year with Jacksonville and Jalen Ramsey. This is almost in some sense a replication almost of that scenario, to where in this side it's more of the general manager being involved. But this goes back to last season when Adams was linked in trade talks, and he felt disrespected because apparently the general manager told him he was untouchable, and that he took offense to that. But the Jets, when you look at them, particularly over the past decade, the Jets have been a below average operation. Ever since the likes of Rex Ryan was toting Mark Sanchez and company on the backs of that defense to AFC Championship games. They've been fairly below average since then, and that's probably putting it mildly. So when you look at this, and when you look at Jamal Adams, a guy you drafted in the top 10 back in 2017, I mean, the guy, when you look at first-round picks, this guy, as much as any other guy, he's absolutely popped. He's everything you would want in a safety and everything you want in a football player. And he's been nothing short of productive. He's been available. He's 46 out of 48 games. That's what he's played. Missed 2 games with an ankle sprain last season. Those type of things happen, though. And the guy, look, 12. Cody read the numbers. You know, production off the charts from the safety position, and 2 consecutive Pro Bowls in a 3-year career, and he just made an All-Pro team. So we talk about this, and sometimes we talk about other teams. We talk about Jacksonville, for instance. These are the type of building block players you should have a vested interest in keeping. Otherwise, I don't know how do you get good and progress? Because the New York Jets, I mean, they're not going to be a juggernaut anytime soon. We don't see that, but we will admit and we will admonish the AFC East is somewhat open this season. There's no longer Bill Belichick is still hanging out there, but Tom Brady he's moved on to Tampa Bay. So that stranglehold that the Patriots have had on this division for the past 2 decades, that appears to be over unless we get some unforeseen performance from Jarrett Stidham, but we'll see how that progresses. But the Jets have a chance here. They have a chance to be competitive. I think they got some sort of a chance to compete for a wild card spot. I like Sam Darnold. I think he can play. We'll see. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we get some semblance of Le'Veon Bell. Maybe Adam Gase figures out to use Le'Veon Bell. But Greg Williams is an exceptional defensive coach. I think he's made more with less many times in his career as an NFL defensive coordinator. The return of C.J. Mosley, that's a big deal for them. We know Quinnen Williams is going to be a star in this league. So, and I've said this on several occasions. They have superstar talent at 3 levels, at every level of this defense, up the middle. Quinnen Williams, C.J. Mosley, and Jamal Adams. I don't know why you would risk botching that just because a player wants to be traded. Number one, he's got Adams has 2 years left. They picked up his 5th-year option, so he's under team control for the next 2 years. This is not something they should do right now. He's cheap. And to me, the Jets have to take great care. They have to do everything they can to repair this relationship. This can't be a thing where you just ship him out of here. Oh, well, he's not happy. It's too hard to try to mend this relationship. So we go ahead and get him out of here and take what you should get. So I tell you, if you walk out of, we talked about the Jalen Ramsey deal earlier. You get anything less than 2 first-round picks for this guy, because remember, he's cheap for the next 2 years. You're getting an all-pro safety for 2 years on the cheap, relative to what he's going to command on the open market. So you're going to have to give up some serious draft capital to make this happen if I'm the Jets, unless – and you never know. You go ahead and mess around with Houston. Bill O'Brien, he'll give up a whole draft class for this guy. That's what we've seen with him do with trades recently. But to the point about the list, because I know we've been talking about the list, I would say the team that should be most invested here, and there's a couple things I'm looking at when you rule out these teams. Number one is, who do you got at safety right now? Is there a real need, and is this going to be a tremendous upgrade? Number two, what's your salary cap situation? Unless you're just saying, hey, we'll take Adams for 2 years and then we'll cut bait with him. I guess you could do that if you're a team that isn't looking too hot in the salary cap regard. And the third one is, have you paid your quarterback yet? Because we know there's half of these teams have not paid their quarterback yet. Lamar Jackson, he's going to command a huge contract. Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, we know these guys are getting paid. No, there can be no question about it. And Dak Prescott, from what I've heard, he has not signed a contract yet. That may be breaking news to some. I don't think it should be. But listen, at some point or other, from everything they say, hey, we're going to get it done. They've been talking about it for, it seems like, a calendar year now, so we'll see. But they have not paid that quarterback. For those reasons, none of those teams, the Texans are in okay shape in regards to the salary cap. None of those other teams are in particularly great shape for the salary cap. So I ruled all them out. But I would go straight to to the team that should make this move. And it was a team that Ryan Clark reported that Jamal Adams is also open to playing for, and that would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And here's why. The Buccaneers are all in right now. The Buccaneers, there is no futuristic avenue for this team. Tom Brady's down there for 2 years, and that's it. That's probably going to be the end of the GOAT's career. You brought in Rob Gronkowski, another piece to win right now. You brought him on out of retirement. You traded up 1 draft pick just to make absolute sure you could solidify that left tackle position. We've been talking about there's been 2 areas of critical need for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It would be the offensive line. They got a left tackle. We'll see what happens with him. And then that secondary. My God, that secondary. I'll say this again. When I look at your secondary and the name that I recognize the most is Carlton Davis, we have an absolute problem that we need to get rectified. And absolutely, this is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, for all the win now moves they have made up to this particular juncture. This is something that they should be on the phone right now with Joe Douglas trying to make this happen. And I don't particularly care what it takes to, if they have interest in Jamal Adams, there should be no amount of draft capital they won't give up to win right now, because you got a great chance. And Jamal Adams is the type of player, because we talk about the front 7. We talk about guys like Shaq Barrett and Levante David. There are some real pieces to like on that front 7. I believe they were top 5 defense against the run last season. And when you look at that secondary, if they can get something back there, and Jamal Adams is the type of player who can change the game. If they can get him, I believe that puts them on par with the New Orleans Saints in the NFC South, and you could make a great argument, and you could probably make me believe that they're the favorite.
All right. So I would like to give everybody a visual of this hot steaming pile of what we got going on with the Jets. So the Jets organization, New York Jets, this trash bin
Drake,
right here, right?
You're holding up the Jags, man. That's the wrong one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I tried to send it back to Amazon to get the right one, and they wouldn't take it back.
Hey, to the viewers actually watching via YouTube, you notice it's red, so they hot trash too.
Oh yeah. Best believe it. So we got the Jets here. Jets organization, trash bag. Boom. Sam Darnold, trash. No, he's not trash. He went to a trash organization. I'm sorry. Let me be clear. I'm sorry. Sam Darnold, you in the trash can. Jamal Adams, you in the trash can. Quentin Williams, you in the trash can. CJ Mosley, I hope you got something left in the tank because you in the trash can now. Le'Veon Bell, you'd rather go bowling, so I guess it don't matter. Now you in the trash can. All right? I say all that to say this. I don't know what the hell the Jets are thinking, but evidently building a winning franchise ain't their goal at all right now. I don't know what they trying to do. I don't know if they want to devalue the franchise. I don't know what they want to do. But winning is not the goal. And here's why I say that. When I'm looking at when the Jets drafted Jamal Adams, right? Drafted him in the first round. You passed up many of quarterbacks. You passed up a bunch of players you could have probably brought in that you needed for Jamal Adams. And you think to yourself, all right, if they draft a safety, this dude better be the best thing smoking. He better be an all-pro. He better be top 5 in a bunch of categories. Well, if you don't say, let's get to the categories, shall we? Sacks since 2017. Oh, what do you know? Number 1 is sacks for safeties. Ain't that about it? Okay. Forced fumbles. Oh, I'm sorry, 12 sacks. The lead, be number 1 in that stat. Forced fumbles, 6 of those. That's number 2. Oh, okay. How many snaps has he played? Once again, you know my thing. The best ability is availability. And evidently this young man, he's available. How many snaps did he play? 2,999 snaps. That's good for what, 3rd since that time frame? Oh, okay, so he's on the field too. How about them tackles? Because you know how DBs and safeties, they don't want to make any tackles. Well, what do you know? He 5th in the league in tackling during that time with 272. Oh, did he made the last 2 Pro Bowls and he was all pro in 2019. So I had to ask myself, Jets organization, what the hell do you want to do to sign him? You want him to start throwing touchdowns too? Like, what else do he got to do? Because clearly you drafted him to be an all-pro at his position. Clearly he's an all-pro at his position. You drafted him to be a game changer on the back end. Clearly he's a game changer on the back end. So I wondered to myself, I feel Jamal Adams at this point. What the hell is the problem? Like, what do you want me to do? I'm not out here stinking up the joint. Like, oh, I know what it is. It's the salary cap, right? Oh, we got to pay these other dudes. We got to pay the quarterback. We got to pay. Oh, just CJ Mosley and Le'Veon Bell? That's it? So is it a money problem or you guys just don't like me? I'm going to go with the fact that you just don't like me. I don't know. So now I'm going to request a trade. Now, Jay laid out this trade to these teams. Evidently, every team he named outside of America's team, these are playoff contenders. These teams are playoff contenders. And then you got, Jerry Jones boys down there. So I'm looking and I say, well, let's go with the Ravens, where they got an all-pro. Let me ask you. I'm gonna ask you this, Jay. What's more important, an all-pro safety or all-pro quarterback? Quarterback, right? No, it's not a trick question. It was a serious question. So they got an all-pro quarterback that they gotta pay. So
they do.
Maybe not. Maybe not there. Let's go to the Cowboys. All right. Well, Dak is not an all-pro, but he is a Pro Bowler, and hey, he seems like he might or might not have the Cowboys over the barrel, so they wouldn't even. They wouldn't.
Yeah, and just to butt in real quick, we know the Cowboys have paid, they've maxed out a lot of guys at a lot of different positions.
Exactly. We seen they let Byron Jones walk out the door because they couldn't pay him. So all of a sudden, they're going to get a change of heart. Oh, knee slap and bring Jamal Adams in? Probably not. The Texans. Now, Jaden hit it on the head. Bill O'Brien, the GM, is known to pull some tomfoolery at the 12th hour. But I think that ownership that's in the basement, wherever they at, over there playing a illegal poker game. I don't know what's going on. Somebody told me that ownership, they might have seen them in that same parlor that the Patriots owner was at. I don't know. When they come out of that dark hole, wherever they at, I'm assuming they're like, nah, maybe not. Maybe not. We're gonna pass. And by the way, they got their own Pro Bowl quarterback that they gotta pay in Deshaun Watson. So we're gonna pass on that. Chiefs, are we serious? Are we absolutely serious? First of all, the Chiefs have a All-Pro safety. First of all, Tyrann Mathieu, that right now is better, if not, more experienced than Jamal Adams. So I don't think you messing with that. And plus, you got the best gunslinger in the business that you got to sign, and it ain't going to be cheap, buddy. So let's go ahead and pass some Chiefs right quick. The Eagles, now in that situation, when the offseason started, they needed a lot of secondary help. Since then, they have addressed that secondary up, down, left, right. How let your boy put in that combo for the cheap. And Carson Wentz is already paid. So this team seemed to already have their act together. But if you had to do a scale from 1 to 7, or 1 to 8, the Eagles probably be top 2. But at the end of the day, I can understand if the Eagles pass because they have been putting in work in their secondary. Then you got the 49ers. Now, could the 49ers use them? Yes. But Jaden already addressed this. They have two safeties back there that can get the job done. There's no need to go out there and break the bank for Jamal Adams. And listen, you just was playing in the Super Bowl. It wasn't like you had a mass exodus of talent after you lost the Super Bowl. So, and you still probably here in 2 years going to have a quarterback situation that you got to figure out as well. So we ain't going to put too much on John Lynch plate here. Then you got the Seahawks. Sidebar here. We like to get on Bill O'Brien for some of the moves. The way the Seahawks been messing around, I wouldn't be surprised they pull some bull crap too. I'm just be honest with you. They don't want to pay anybody to protect Russell Wilson, so they might just spend the money on defense so they don't have to pay anybody to protect Russell Wilson. I just want to throw that out there. But here's the deal. They got some guys on their back end that can get the job done just as well. So I think Pete Carroll, he looks, he say, nah, too rich for our blood, we out. And then we come with the most reasonable team of them all, Jay alluded to, the Buccaneers. Well, if I'm the Buccaneers, I think I got to make this happen. I got to go that quarterback. I got Big Grunt coming out of retirement. We the best thing smoking in Florida outside of the coronavirus. And listen, it's time to do what we got to do, baby. It's showtime. It's showtime in Tampa Bay again. And we said it. What was the 2 positions you had to fix? The offensive line and secondary. You have addressed the offensive line. We seen that. You addressed the offensive line. Now the GOAT need the ball back. I can't be out here in 55-point shootouts. I need the ball back. How do you do that? You show up that back end. And I think they should do it. If they don't, whatever. But, if you got the GOAT, Bruce Arians out here, he trying to make sure he on the golf course by at least 8 o'clock. He got to get the swings in. You know what I'm saying? Trying to light up the cigars. And he can't do that if the defense can't stop a nosebleed. All right? So you need that guy on the back end. And so with all that said, I think, he should, with Tampa Bay. We'll see. But I find it interesting, right? He want to be the highest paid safety. And I'm looking at Eddie Jackson contract here at $14.6 million. And I like Eddie Jackson. Eddie Jackson, that's my boy, Alabama alumni, Roll Tide, all that good stuff. But I don't know if Eddie Jackson, I think he might have had one season that was probably impressive as what Jamal Adams has done so far. I don't know. I mean, I don't understand why the Jets is not playing, why they're not paying Jamal Adams. The more I look at this, I'm like, what do you want from the guy? He's available. He's playing top-notch football. I don't know. But when I look at all these situations, man, to me, it seems like it's Tampa Bay, or we're going to have a very, very long, disgruntled conversation with the Jets. That's my outlook on it.
Yeah, you know me. I look at the numbers and all that stuff a little bit, and the two things that really work against Adams in this case really is that his position is not the highest value to the team, and the contract structures in the NFL. I mean, the first thing is he's a safety. All right, it's one. I mean, if you had to rank every position in order of importance, safety wouldn't be that high. It definitely wouldn't be in like the top 5. And just like last week, we talked about Dalvin Cook and the value of the running back position being a little devalued. And Adams is another one that he falls in that sort of trap of these are positions that you can limp by without Pro Bowl talent if you have to. Running back, safety, things like that. You can put, your average Madden core gold back there, and it's not going to be the end of the world, right? Now, obviously, Adams does stuff that your average safety isn't going to do. Most safeties aren't going to come up and rush the passer like he can. He's extremely versatile. He leads all defensive backs in sacks in the last 3 years. He's an absolute asset. We already talked about it. But when a team's going to give up such extreme amounts of money or assets in the case of trading for you to get you, the value, the total value, what do you bring total is questionable. And, the Jets have won 15 games of them in 3 years for whatever it's worth. I mean, is it all Adams' fault? No. But obviously, he's not someone that can just hard carry a franchise and turn them around on his own. I mean, again, that's not Adams' fault 100%. But when you're talking about numbers and trades and whatnot, you got to think, what does this guy really – how much better can he make us, And the rookie contracts hammer players like him in the NFL because, guys, the Jets don't have to pay him if they don't want to. He's under contract. I mean, it is what it is. We saw the same sideshow with Jacksonville and Jalen Ramsey. He wanted to be paid. He didn't want to wait on the timeline. He forced his way out. But he was a year behind Adams. He had drafted in 2016. And you have 4 years on your deal. First-round picks get a 5th-year option, which is what he's going to go into next year. He's on the 4th year this year. So it's the 4th year, 5th-year option next year, and then you have a franchise tag possibly looming. And, when you pay a position that only get paid about $14 million a year max, a franchise tag would be pretty lucrative for a team to sign you to because he's probably going to wind up making about 12 or 13, salary cap increases and all that. But, it's not right. I mean, I think in the next CBA, rookies need to have some kind of protections of, hey, if you make all pro teams and Pro Bowls in your first year, in your first 2-3 years, some kind of incentive should kick in to increase your contract because you're locked down for 5 or 6 years if they want you to be. I mean, the Panthers paid Christian McCaffrey, but that was really nice of them, but they didn't have to do that. I mean, they wanted to do that and lock him up while it's smart. The only argument for a team to do it early is maybe you get him for a fair price now versus in a year or two where he continues his progress and then he's worth an outrageous amount of money. So, but it does favor the teams much more than it favors the players in these negotiations. And it sucks because Adams is essentially getting paid market value for one of his first 5 years, and he's playing well above that every year he's played. So, it's not right, but the Jets are in a position too where with the coronavirus and the uncertainties, man, just not huge contracts right now is really dicey. And some teams are going to play it safe. They're going to play it close, and it's unfortunate for him. But if they don't have to pay him, if he still has to show up and play football anyway, you know what I mean? Like there's something to be said about maybe not just going overboard and just throwing the money at him just because he wants it right now. I mean, he's only in coming into year 4 of his really essentially a 6-year deal. So I get some reasons why the Jets wouldn't do it. Now, like y'all made the case, he's far better than most any safety in the league. I mean, he's probably the best safety in the league if we line him up, or at least among strong safeties, he's definitely the best. So, should the Jets maybe do that? Yeah, but I wouldn't do it if I was the Jets. I definitely wouldn't trade him. I would do everything I could to work on a deal with him because, like you said, you got to have these building blocks. Now, you can't just get dudes, get 3 years out of them, and then trade them. You're never going to get ahead. But if they did trade him, I would say nothing less than at least a first-round pick and then a second-day pick, second, third, maybe fourth, you're throwing in a player. But I actually saw Baltimore as a little more of a suitor than maybe you guys did. I think because Lamar Jackson was drafted in 2018, so he's only on his third year of his contract. So they've got that time to pay him. And Baltimore is a very young team to be as win now as they are. Their draft's been fantastic. I mean, their salary cap, it's kind of hairy this year, but the next year they project to have $65 million by over the cap. And a lot of that is because they don't re-sign Matthew Judon to a long-term deal. They'll have the money to do it. And man, can you imagine Jamal Adams in that Baltimore defense? I wouldn't want to. So yeah, the Jets shouldn't do it, man. But if he did, hey, why not Baltimore?
Yo, now, Cody, I got a question for you because you said something about franchise tag. So are you saying after they pay him the 3.5 in 2020, then the 9.9 in 2021, then they could franchise
tag him? Yeah, I mean, why not?
What? When his contract be up?
No, because after the fifth-year option, he would then have a 6 year of a potential franchise tag. I think that's what Dak Prescott's looking at right now.
Well, that fifth-year option, they pick up that option, and then that would be the end of his contract.
Yeah, that's the end of the contract.
Yeah,
right?
when that contract runs out, that's when that player is eligible for the franchise tag.
Yeah, so you would be going into the 6th year. They could choose to use their one franchise tag on him if they wanted to, and they would have to pay him as a top 5 safety, but it would only be about $13 million probably.
So am I hearing it? So you saying after he does his 5 years, because he's mandatory, he could do 5 years because he's a first-round pick. Then the Jets can make him do a six year.
Yeah, with the franchise tag, it's the same thing with Dak Prescott right now. Even though he didn't have the 5th-year option, but he's still the 4-year contract with that fourth round.
You only get one franchise tag. So would they use it on Adams? We don't know. I'm just saying the Jets have up to 6 years of potentially force playing, but they can keep your services for up to 6 years.
Yeah, what he's saying is they could potentially they could use it on somebody else, but he would be a prime candidate they could use it on that team.
So that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, but back to the point of the Jets as an organization. This is one of those situations where these teams, the relationship between players and executives, these executives and these coaches as well, when you have a budding superstar like a Jamal Adams, you gotta take great care in making sure you're on the up and up with this guy and he's happy, because the problem was the reason the contract became a thing, in my estimation, was the dangling of Adams last year in trade talks, which is just ridiculous. Why you would make such a move, especially after, according to Jamal Adams, he was told by management, and they shouldn't say this because at the end of the day, it is a business, and agents need to do a better job of letting players know. I know they're young, but they got to understand this early because they can hit you quick. It's a business. You're not untouchable, and I'll tell you why. We just saw Tom Brady, the GOAT. Most accomplished quarterback of all time, and where he at now. New England had to make a business decision, and he up on out of there. So if they could do it to Tom Brady, you Jamal Adams, you're a fine player, all pro. But if they can do it to Tom Brady, they can do it to you.
I mean, it's 20 years late, but yeah.
It happened. You never would have imagined that Tom Brady would play somewhere else, but they had to do it.